Hello, welcome to my channel Dharma Makes. This is actually a requested video. I asked which Pokemon would you like to see next, and the request was Charmander. So let's get into it. I started out with a cross-stitch pattern from Mockingbird Stitching on DeviantArt. So I'm cutting out a piece of cross-stitch cloth that's big enough for my embroidery hoop, and just from counting the pixels I know this is going to be plenty. And of course I'm going to stretch the canvas taut between the rings, making sure to flatten it and tighten it as well as I can. As I go on, I know it will start slacking a little bit anyway. And I'm also snipping off those corners because I know they're just going to get in my way. Of course, the next step is to look through my embroidery box and find the colors that I need. There's a really handy guide that comes with the pattern with like actual numbers of a branded thread, but I'm just matching and picking the colors that I have in my stash and matching them as well as I can. And I'm also looking at original art from the Pokemon games. Of course, I'm going to be starting with black and with the outline I can do with black. I'm using 3 strands of embroidery floss, and I just like to double secure my knots in the back by looping the needle through between the 3 strands. And off we go. I've started sort of at the foot because that was quite centered, and I picked a spot kind of in the low middle part of the canvas. And from that anchor point, I'm continually counting and following the pattern and trying not to make mistakes at this point, because if I do, I'm going to have to undo it and restart. Once I have a little bit more down on the canvas, it becomes easier to count and not make mistakes. But for now, I'm just really trying to pay attention. So I'll just do everything I can with the black, and it's already starting to look like something. So I'm moving on to my next darkest color and continue with as much of the outline as it's possible, and then I'm going to pick the next darkest color and start filling it in. There's really not that much I can say about the process. Cross stitching is quite simple, it's just very time consuming. So I usually settle in with a good movie or YouTube video and just work away at it. I've obviously sped up the footage for you quite a lot, so I'm just going to leave you to watch me progress through the stitching itself with the music. And ta-da! Charmander is actually done. But of course I want to give him a little bit of a background. I don't want to leave an empty canvas. So I'm just going to trace the circle inside of the frame that it's going to go onto. And just with a ballpoint pen, I'm going to loosely sketch a very simple landscape background. There's just gonna be grass and sky and a tree, a few bushes and some clouds. And I'm just picking colors from my stash that I think are going to look good. I'm going to zip through most of this because it's not that interesting. I've tried to maintain the slightly shaded aesthetic of the Pokemon itself with the light coming from the right. But I'm just doing very simple things. So yeah, I finished the grass and then the sky and the clouds, and ta-da! We have a background. I know a lot of people just actually frame things with empty canvas, but that is just not my taste. It looks unfinished to me, so I chose a different path. And I think this sort of pixelated art actually looks really cute. So I removed my canvas from the embroidery hoop, and it's time to put it on its permanent frame. These are special frames with a really hard rubbery outside ring that sort of looks like it's wood, but it's only just printed and textured like that. I really like the look of them, and they come with this nice little thing that you can hang them from. I'm not actually happy because I made a mistake. When I drew that circle for the background, I should have traced the outside circle. But I made a mistake, and I want to cover that area. So I came up with the idea of filling in that area with something else. I didn't want to stick anything else. I still wanted to keep it in the realm of fiber. So what to do? I didn't want to take it off the frame and extend the background. That would have been just way too much work, and I ran out of thread in certain colors. So instead I came up with something to mask it, and I'm going to be using this red yarn. I bought this ball of red yarn for one specific project over a year ago, and ever since then I have been looking for more and more ways I can use it for different things. So for this one, just keeping it in the realm of fiber art, I thought it would be perfect to just dress up this cardboard ring into the yarn. And I'm just laying it down carefully, adding small discreet dabs of glue, sometimes fixing the yarn into place. But I'm mostly keeping a little bit of tension and trying to line down the yarn next to each other as I'm spinning it over the cardboard ring. And actually, I'm going to do a second pass because I've got plenty of yarn and I have little unseemly gaps. I thought this is good use of a resource that I already had. The red circle is obviously associated with Pokemon already because of the Pokeballs, and you know, red is often associated as the color of fire, so I thought it matched. And I also thought that it visually matched as well. I think assembled like this, it all goes well together. And I fixed my mistake and created an even more interesting display for my cross stitch. Let me know in the comments below what you think about my Charmander, and also write me about which Pokemon would you like to see next. I think I'm going to continue with the cross-stitch Pokemon series for a while. I'm making no promises, but anyway, I think it's only going to be from the original 150, as I don't really know the rest that well. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you'd like to see those upcoming Pokemon. Thank you for watching. I hope you're having a nice day. Bye!